This is a dream spreadsheet, right? Obviously, it will not be so easy to reach results like this. However, it shows how long it takes and what size is needed to reach millionaire status starting with a given amount. I'll explain the details with this spreadsheet. But most important from this video, the bottom line is this. In the workshop and with live examples, I showed you the average trade position value. You will see the average value of the position you put in. Obviously, if a position costs 2, you can invest more. But let's assume you trade positions that could have different entry prices. For example, one could cost $2 per lot, another 5 or 7, and so on. But the average for the month, each month is 16 costing dollars of the strategies. In this example, you are long, you buy, all the position you put in have average cost $16, and that is also what you are putting at risk. The maximum you are willing to risk is the average 16 times the lots times 100. And remember that with options, we have the benefit of one of the biggest leverage in any trades and investments. I showed you some of the strategies making 25%, some other position making even more. However, it's not unrealistic to think you could start with 3 lots aiming for 10% profit on total at risk per month. You won't use all the money. That's your total starting capital. You keep some in reserve for hedging, adjusting, and unforeseen situations. As first step, you start with 3 lots, meaning you invest $4,800 of the initial capital, 16,000. You are using only 30% per trade, and with an average cost of 16, you can start with 3 lots. If you gain 10% in a month, your return would be $480. The next month, your capital at risk money grows, and at a certain point, you can increase your position to 4 lots, then 5, and so on. Here, you will reach the maximum position you can put on. Obviously, unless you reach a specific threshold, you won't add the extra lots. SPX trades in 1 lot increments. For example, the next time you can add a lot might be after 6 months. The next time you can move to 6 lots could be another 2 months. This is exactly how Jim Simons, the most profitable trader ever, used to trade. Small and frequent trades, compounding, money management, and capital reserves. However, at a certain point, you reach a limit. The maximum position here is 15 lots. At that stage, instead of $4,800, your total investment would be $27,000, and your monthly returns increase accordingly. After the first year, you could be up 94%, which is very realistic. That's how I manage my positions, not 94% on a single trade, but on the initial $16,000. Continuing this way, you fix your position at 15 lots. If you don't, the cycle continues. However, reaching 2,000 lots isn't feasible with this strategy. It's too large to absorb. At that point, you've reached millionaire status, possibly managing an office with traders working for you. So how long does it take to transform a 16,000 starting capital into $1 million? Theoretically, with the same performance level, about 5 years. By then, your return would be around 5,000% on the total capital. At that point, you've reached your goal and continue growing. The lesson here isn't to encourage you to quit your job today and dive into trading full time if you are not ready and well trained, but to show how compounding works for traders and investors. In this strategy, you control the risk, you have leverage on your side, deploying capital only when the opportunity arises. You don't need to be in the market at all times. The entry point isn't necessarily correlated with the final result because you enter and exit trades daily. You use leverage and every tool available to your advantage while sleeping well at night, knowing you're not overexposed. Is this possible? Absolutely. Is this true? I just showed you the numbers. Maybe I was lucky. Test it yourself. What happens if I start with 50 or 40 lots instead? Well, let's see. From here, you are fixed at a certain level, and when you accumulate big money, you fix positions at 12 or whatever level suits your risk tolerance. The yellow fields in the spreadsheet allow adjustments. If you put in larger capital, you'll reach your target faster. However, are you ready for that? You can aim for 1,255% returns, but you also need sufficient starting capital. If you begin with $16,000, you need to work within that limit. The key point is understanding risk management. I know some may think this sounds like a sales pitch, but I'm not selling a dream. I'm showing a way to manage money at risk effectively. Now, with the right strategy and model, you can reach high returns conservatively. You can scale up by increasing size and reducing time in trades or adjust your risk tolerance accordingly. This example is reasonably conservative. If you trade just Fridays, where an average trade costs $5, your path to a million will take a bit longer, possibly 5 years. The concept is clear. Play with it. How many contracts can you trade? 3 weeks ago, I traded more than 1,000 lots in a single transaction. The market and maker makers facilitated, and it was not a problem. However, Jim Simons with more than 100 billion can't trade this way. That's why he used to trade anomalies. His model was so advanced that the mathematician behind it could have won a Nobel Prize in math. And Mr. Simons won the equivalent award in the field of geometry. However, since 2005, most similar base models have stopped working because too many people knew about them. Very big traders and funds can't use the kind of option strategies we use. But for smaller independent traders, it works. It just depends on your capital and risk tolerance. Watch the video again. Play with the spreadsheet, adjust it to your goals. The outcome depends on how much you invest and how long you stay in the market.